Today we have with us the Jeep Compass and the Tata Harrier. Now you may wonder how the 16.25 lakh rupee front wheel driven Harrier compares with an all-wheel drive Jeep Compass that costs about 23 lakhs. Now the pricing is one of the many aspects that set the two apart. But there are as many things that bring them together. To start with, both cars are based on the same engine, a 2-litre Fiat-sourced diesel that comes paired with a 6-speed manual transmission. And more importantly, both cars have very strong underpinnings. So we're going to spend some time with both these cars and try to answer a few questions. First, what do you get for the additional price you pay for the Compass? Second, is the Harrier a better value for money offering? And more importantly, which of these two cars should you put your money on? That's a lot of questions to be answered, so let's get on with it. In terms of design, both these SUVs have very unique and independent personalities. The Compass has an old-school muscular feel to it. From the vertically stacked grille, square-off wheel arches, to the overall silhouette, everything screams Jeep here. Despite being a few years old, the Compass's clean lines still have the same pleasing charm that it first did. The Tata Harrier, on the other hand, is a perfect example of a modern-day SUV. It has sharp lines all across, sleek LED DRLs up front, and an edgy tail section. Both cars look good in their own right. It's almost like comparing Thor's slender body with the Hulk's bulk. If it's size you seek, the Harrier is undoubtedly the one for you. Speaking of which, the Harrier is longer, wider and taller. At 2741mm, it has a wheelbase that is 105mm longer. The larger dimensions do result in more space in the cabin. The Compass by no means feels constricted, but unlike the Harrier, space is not in abundance either. Moving on to the front, the Harrier seats have superb side bolstering, but somewhat lack in the under-thigh support. The Compass is quite the opposite, with a longer seat base and just about adequate support for the torso. On the inside, the Harrier definitely feels a lot more new age than the Compass. A lot of it has to do with the layout of the dash. There's this large touchscreen in the center and 4 wood finish that gives the cabin a premium feel. Quality overall is a lot better than what we have seen from Tata before, but there are a few bits of hard plastics on the steering wheel and the door panels that could have been better. The Compass, although a bit conservative in terms of design, feels a lot better put together than the Harrier. There are these soft touch materials on the dashboard and on the door panels that make it look superior. The touchscreen infotainment unit is a little too busy and complicated to operate, especially on the fly. While in the presence and space departments, the Harrier may surge ahead, the Compass covers up some ground in terms of features. Both cars come with 6 airbags, ABS, EBD, stability control, hill hold, traction control and more. The Compass does get better equipment like electronic parking brake, electrically adjusted driver's seat, sunroof, automatic headlamps, navigation and more. The Jeep surprisingly misses out on cruise control, something that the Harrier comes with. Both cars may have the same engine, but they're a lot different in the way they perform. The Harrier makes just about 138 horsepower and is the heavier car of the two, and it really shows in the way it accelerates, especially out on the highway when you want to make overtaking maneuvers. While the engine does gain speed reasonably well and can even hold 120 with ease, it is at higher speeds that you will really feel its weight and relatively low power. Overtaking needs a bit of planning and in some cases even a downshift. That sense of urgency is missing in the way the engine performs. What the Harrier lacks in terms of performance, it more than makes it up in terms of ease of driving, thanks to the lighter clutch action of the car. The Compass is not just lighter, but it's the more powerful car of the two. Now thanks to that, not only does it accelerate a lot more faster, it makes overtaking on the highways that much easier. It definitely feels more spirited and eager. Although it makes the same amount of torque as the Harrier, it kicks in snappishly, something that will take a little getting used to. The biggest concerns, however, is the heavy clutch. The Compass won't be the most relaxed car to drive in bumper-to-bumper traffic. The equation really sways in favor of the Compass in the handling department. The suspension is much better tuned to take on hilly roads. Body roll is superbly controlled and the steering is perfectly well calibrated. It feels direct and weighs marginally on the heavier side, just the way we like it. Set up on the stiffer side, the Jeep does throw the passengers around over bad roads, but that's a compromise you willingly make for better high-speed stability and a more confident drive. The Harrier doesn't feel as planted and poised around the bends. In comparison to the Jeep, the suspension is set up softer. Lateral movement steals a lot of the poise and the drive isn't the most assertive over switchbacks either. The steering feels way too light and disconnected to inspire confidence. The Tata does, however, ride a lot better over bad roads. It absorbs most of the potholes without a fret. One of our biggest grouses with the Harrier is the poor visibility from behind the wheel. The ORVMs are way too large and can easily block a motorcyclist or a pedestrian from your sight. The tall backside of the car limits the view from the IRVM too.
The Tata is a much bigger car. It not only has more presence but also has more space on the inside. It even drives a lot better over broken roads. It does, however, lack in terms of finesse, not just from the engine but also from the touch and feel of things. But there's no denying that it is a great value for money proposition. There's a stark difference in the price of the Harrier and the Compass. For all the money you pay, you get better equipment in the Compass. It has electric seats for the driver, a sunroof, and more importantly, all-wheel drive system. The Compass even pips the Harrier in terms of driving dynamics. So finally, the Compass gets the right combination of quality, features, driving dynamics, and brand image. And for that, the Compass is the winner of this comparison.